Right, so in the process of doing this video, I cocked up a little bit and missed a couple of trophies, so I'm just gonna put them here. Spider-Man is probably the best individual superhero game ever made, created before identity politics and self-inserts ruined it all, which is why I'm not making videos on Miles Morales or Spider-Man 2 unless I'm desperate. They can both suck my dick for different reasons. But Spooderman is legit. This is probably my favourite superhero game aside from Arkham City, and I'm getting this platinum today. Story to beat, combat challenges to complete, and a fuck ton of collectibles. So let's get started, and even though I'm gonna get struck with all of the claims and strikes, I am letting this intro play out because it's awesome! The game's intro mission is a great way to teach traversal and combat right off the bat. A good start with taking down the Kingpin for our first trophy. And from here, I'm already facing a choice on what to do. Anyone who has played this game knows that this is a collectathon. So a load of challenges, a load of collectibles, tokens, overworld activities, you get the gist. There is a lot to take care of outside of the story for the platinum. I decided to pretty much take care of what comes up when it does. So I spent a bit of time dealing with all the towers, the backpacks, and the first wave of ambient crimes, and we got a few trophies in the process. Lost and Found for finding 5 backpacks. Spider Sensible for performing a perfect dodge 10 times. King of Swing for completing a level 1 traversal benchmark. Hero for Hire for perching atop the Avengers Tower. Amazing Coverage for activating all surveillance towers. No idea what wing it was, but I got it just by swinging around. And Stay Down for completing a level 1 combat benchmark. Neighborhood Watch for completing all faction crimes in one district. The Scientific Method for crafting my first upgrade. Ace the Base for completing all objectives in a base. Sightseeing for photographing all landmarks. All the King's Men for taking down each Fisk hideout. Snappy Dresser for wearing 5 new spider suits. And Spider-Man About Town for greeting 10 citizens. That's pretty much everything you can do before the demons rock up. Took about 3 to 4 hours and resulted in 27% overall completion. Nice. In the process of taking out demons in the auction house mission, we got Arachnophobic for performing 75 stealth takedowns, and here's where I'm gonna drop this video's rant time. And this rant time isn't just taking aim at this game, I'm taking shots at Spider-Man 2 as well, and segments of Miles Morales. We want to play as Spider-Man in Spider-Man games. We want to swing around, we want to fight bad guys with flashy takedowns and one-liners. Being forced into some random-ass segments that isn't Spider-Man doesn't float my boat. Look, if I'm being brutally honest about all this, I can tell what they were trying to do with diversifying the gameplay, and I do actually kind of like the Miles stealth segment in Act 3 of the first game, where he's trying to get the medicine for Feast because there's some serious narrative weight and there's good tension behind it. But aside from that, I can't help but feel that these segments are just kind of forced in. If some were set up as more like guiding missions where you need to take out a certain number of enemies in a short enough time to ensure that other character isn't discovered, then I could forgive something like the Miles segment where he's sneaking past Sable. But because there are simply too many of these, it's something I dread doing whenever I come back to play this game. After completing the auction house mission, we're free to take down Shocker for Shock and Awe. Now I could go about and clear all the demon crimes, and we've unlocked the research stations at this point, but I need the electric webs for one of those missions, and we get access to the Black Cat collectibles not long after unlocking the webs. So I decided to clear that mission first, do the garbage truck section after Pete is evicted from his apartment, and work my way back up the city to grab the next wave of collectibles. I started with fast travelling a load of times to grab Born to Ride, and then grabbed a Black Cat collectible for Cats Out of the Bag. Completing all research stations grabs me R&D, and finding all the Black Cat locations and tracking down her base grants Cat Prints. I also finished all the demon crimes in the city, but we don't get a trophy just yet for that, and after spending the night at Feast, we unlock a couple more side missions, one of which being for catching all of Howard's pigeons. Bringing down a helicopter and completing the first Miles stealth segment brings Act 1 to a close, and we get our first of 3 Act-related trophies. Upon entering Act 2, we're given our introduction to warehouses for the demons, basically the same as the Fisk construction sites. I decided to leave them for now and carry on with the story until I had more to do around the city. I was thinking of having the Tombstone side missions, the infected students, and Taskmaster on the map before another cleanup run. After clearing more story missions, including another MJ stealth segment, Yuri gives us a call to check out the first of what turns out to be many of Taskmaster Challenger crates. We actually get quite a few trophies for dealing with this guy, 6 in total. We need to achieve a spectacular rating in one of every type of challenge for 4 of them. So we get Short Fuse for the rating in a bomb challenge, Spy Hunter for a drone challenge, Fists of Fury for a combat challenge, and Ninja for a stealth challenge. We then get Challenge Finder for completing all challenges, and Master of Masters for finally beating Taskmaster. Tombstone Takedown comes after completing the Tombstone related side missions and bringing the big guy down. Then finally the Demon Warehouses for Inner Sanctuary. In the process of clearing one of these warehouses, I got Hug It Out for trapping 10 pairs of enemies together using trip mines. The college missions are next. These are the result of Lee corrupting a bunch of students, and now they're running riot over the city. Completing them all awards Schooled. On my way to the next story mission, I realised I still had another random trophy I could do, so I chained 4 unique tricks before landing on the ground for Sticky and Tricky. After completing the mission in Grand Central Station, and after Peter experiences what every man does when speaking to a girl, we unlock and complete the final side mission for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and finish all optional lab experiments for a bit of a fixer-upper. Now it's time for probably my favourite mission in the game. It's a kick-ass set piece and is a great introduction to the Sinister Six. My only complaint about these guys is that I feel they're a little bit underutilised and maybe could have actually had a whole game. But completing the mission brings Act 2 to a close. You know what? Fuck it, another rant time. I'm seeing New York in this state, even more of a shithole than it normally is. Maximum security prisoners with experimental tech are running wild. Sable are torturing and taking innocent people hostage in makeshift prison camps. A potentially world-ending virus has been unleashed on the populace. Dude, where the fuck are the Avengers? Not even one defender is running around. Hell, Punisher would be out there shooting anyone in an orange jumpsuit. The game establishes through collectibles, extra content, and just the basic level design that the Avengers are a formed and highly functional team. The Defenders may not be about, but Daredevil is active, Danny Rand's gotta be somewhere, and Alias Investigations is an active business, so maybe not the full duel, but Jessica Jones is chilling in New York right now. That's the problem with establishing that these guys exist, and then have a world-ending event occur.
That's all, folks.
But now it's time for the final city cleanup, and it feels like the longest one. It may only be combat focused, but we have 8 bases to clear, 80 crimes to stop. There's a lot to do. Doing these missions though does allow me to take down my 10th vehicle. And finally, after about 4 hours of non-stop swinging around and fighting, we've cleared the city to 100%, being able to earn all of the following trophies as a result. Superior Spider-Man for unlocking all skills, a suit for all seasons for purchasing all suits, Back to the Slammer for taking down all prisoner camps, Mercenary Tactics for taking down all Sable outposts, and I Heart Manhattan for completing all districts to 100%. Now all that's left is to beat the story, with the exception of one final trophy. For beating Electro and Vulture, we get Grounded. Scorpion then spikes my drink and I wake up in my underwear. Dealing with Rhino and Scorpion afterwards awards Smash and Sting. And Staying Positive is given for beating a lazy as fuck designed boss fight with Martin Lee. And all that's left after that is to take down Octavius. It's not the most complex boss fight in the world, but it's fine. Beating him brings the story to a close. The city's back to normal, and by visiting Uncle Ben's grave, we unlock the final trophy for the Platinum.
Approach with caution. Report came in from Hamilton Heights.
I still maintain my belief that this is one kick-ass game, flaws included. In fact, I had such a good time platinuming this game, I did it again. Yes, I played through the whole thing again on the PS5 remaster for an end of video gag, proving I have way too much time on my hands.